Hi, I'm Mike from Arizona. I live near the border with Mexico. And I've had the opportunity to assist many individuals learn the English language. And one thing we've always noticed was the cognates, words that are very similar in spelling and definition. And they've asked me why. And I said, well, much of our language comes from Latin, just like Spanish. But how about the words that don't sound the same, the non-cognates? Well, they're from Germanic origin. So I decided to make a small PowerPoint to illustrate the origins of the English language. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Welcome back. The following is a PowerPoint presentation of the origin of the English language. Very short history with a list of words of Germanic origin with synonyms of Latin origin. 96 of the 100 most common English words are of Germanic origin. However, when we expand that list to the most common 80,000 words, Germanic or Norse or Nordic origin drops down to 25%. As you can see, Latin's 28%, French is 28%, Greek is 5%, because many of the technical, medical, and legal words are from those origins. Timeline of invasions. The language was greatly altered due to invasions to Great Britain. The Celts were there in 500 BC. The Romans came in AD 43. But then the Angles, the Saxons, Jutes, and Frisians came in 450. Vikings started in 793. And the Normans 1066 in the Battle of Hastings. Here's a map of Roman Britain. As you can see, London was founded by the Romans. After the Romans left, groups came from what is now Denmark, Northwest Germany, Netherlands, and even Belgium into various parts of Great Britain. The other areas remained Celtic, as they call in this map, Britons. Then later on, the Vikings started their raids throughout Europe, but they settled in northern France and in Great Britain. In northern France, the area was called, and still is, Normandy, from Northmen. Those folks there mixed in with the local population, adopted the French language, or Old French at that time, which was based off of Latin. Those who settled in Great Britain, in Danelaw, spoke a language very similar to the occupants already living there. Then, William the Conqueror from Normandy decided that he wanted to expand his possessions and crossed over the English Channel and conquered what is now England. Brought with them the Old French, and the occupants spoke a Germanic language, which mixed and became our language. As you can see here, prior to the Norman invasion, from the 5th to 11th century, those folks spoke language that was Germanic in origin from the maps that we previously saw. And then after Norman invasion, those Norman invaders became the rulers of England, and they brought with them a Old French language that was based off of Latin, mostly. Modern English started in 1500, and it's in two phases. Early Modern English, 1500 to 1800, it was influenced by the Renaissance and contact with people from other countries. Late Modern English, which we speak now, it was influenced by the Industrial Revolution and the British Empire. Now we'll start our list. On the top word will be of Germanic origin, and the bottom word will be of Latin. We have ask, as we can see, before 900, an Old English word. See its origin from Saxon, from Frisian. Then we have inquire, came around 1250 to 1300. Middle English word that was from the Old French, which originated originally in Latin. Then we have want and desire. It's a Middle English word, but its origin was the Old Norse word, vanta. The synonym is desire, came out a little bit later, and it was an old French word based off of Latin. Once again, answer and response. Before 900, it's an Old English word, Germanic origin of swaro, derivative of swear, it's en swear. And we have the Latin equivalent is response from an old French word and originated with Latin. We have way and manner, like do it this way or do it in this manner. Before 900, an Old English word came from the Old Norse. Manner, once again, Middle English from Old French, based off of a Latin word, means with your hands. We have shape and form. Old English from the Old Norse, before 900, and form came a few hundred years later from Old French, based off of Latin forma. We have win and triumph. Old English from the Old Norse vinna. The Latin equivalent came from French, triumph. And here's one, shame, embarrass, and humiliate. Synonyms. Shame is an Old English word, came from an Old Norse word, skam. But we have embarrass from French, but the unknown origin there. There is equivalent in Spanish and Portuguese, but other than that, they're not sure what the origin is. But see where we adopted it much later, 1665 to 75. But we also have humiliate, which we borrowed directly from Latin. We have write from the Old Norse word writa, and then we have scribe, which we got much later, 1350, directly from Latin. We have dead and mortal. Okay, dead's an Old Norse word, an Old English from Old Norse. We have deadly, Old English deadlich. It's deadly or mortal. You can see we got mortal directly from Latin. As those folks back in Great Britain at that time were studying and learning Latin, and the upper classes were speaking the Old French, you can see where more words are being pulled in from Latin. We have cold and frigid. Cold being an Old English word, from once again from an Old Norse word. We got frigid directly from Latin. We have guess and estimate. See where we got guess much later, but we got it from the Dutch, a great seafaring folks. But it was based off of a Norse word. And we got estimate a while later, directly from Latin. I hope you enjoyed this PowerPoint presentation, guys. But for our reading assignment, I want to give you a web address for a little bit more detail of what we've already discussed on the history. Thank you.